name's David from Farnborough, Hampshire. I've been Muslim for about 3 months now. I was a little bit on the wrong side of the law. I almost went to jail when I was 15. Eventually, we ran out of money, and then obviously the bank obviously took the house in December. I broke into tears there and then. I honestly, I was afraid. I was nervous because I thought I was going to get judged. I thought people were going to say, "Who's this white geezer walking into the mosque?" Hi, my name's David from Farnborough, Hampshire, and I've been Muslim for about 3 months now. When I was growing up, I was a Catholic, but you know, my parents never really pushed me to church. Really, you know, they kind of let me choose my own way. So yeah, then obviously I embraced Islam and believe I'm on the right path now. So my dad, he grew up in Southern Ireland during the Troubles. So he didn't want to force any religion on me because it was forced upon him. So at the age of 14, he had enough of being told what to do by obviously everyone in Ireland, and he said, "I've had enough of this." Threw his backpack in the water and went to London. And and that was it. Obviously that was from the age of 14, and grew up in London. Obviously as an Irish man, you know, in the 70s, 80s, it wasn't very easy. So yeah, no, it's a really amazing story. And obviously met my mum, then yeah, moved down to Farnborough. You know, life before Islam. Before, when I was growing up, to be honest with you, I didn't have the best opinion of the religion. And instead of speaking to someone about the religion, understanding myself, I just jumped on the bandwagon and just joined everybody else and become a bully, really. I was a little bit on the wrong side of the law. I almost went to jail when I was 15, but that was a very big life-changing moment for me. Then I realised, right, I need to get on the right path. So this is where I started working in the security industry. So I looked to work in the security industry so I can kind of help people, instead of being one of those drunk guys in the pub, causing trouble as per usual. I've actually seen someone die in a nightclub once just from picking the wrong fight with the wrong person. Every day I think about what kind of person I was back then and how much I've changed to this day. My opinion changed a few years ago when obviously I went out for some food with my Algerian friend, and so he's a very good friend of mine, but he likes to talk to his brothers, and obviously he was talking in Arabic, and so another Algerian who just got to that country that day, he was translating everything that these guys were talking about, and my friend, who I've known for a very long time, he left me. They didn't care about me, obviously, to involve me in the conversation. But obviously, when I realised how much heart that we have in this religion, is when this guy I've never met in my life, who just got to this country, he's translating what these guys are talking about to involve me in the conversation. So ever since that day, I thought, right, I need to open my eyes now, and I need to have a look about what this is really about. To be honest, I didn't know too much about the religion then. So all I did know was obviously about praying five times a day. But obviously, as soon as I had that interaction, I thought, right, I need to start looking into things. But I was still really nervous. I didn't want to give up the meat. I didn't want to give up the alcohol. I wanted to have a good time. I didn't want to be boring. I didn't want my friends to judge me. I didn't want my family to judge me. But then I realised I need to see all the information. I need to see what it's really about. But one thing that made me dig really deep into the religion is, obviously, as I said earlier on, my father, obviously being Irish, obviously before Islam was hated, it was the Irish in the mainstream media. So obviously when I see that obviously Islam, Muslims are terrorists, Muslim this, Muslim that, I say, right, as soon as I see the mainstream media posting negative things, for me, I need to actually go down that rabbit hole and actually see for myself what these people are really like. And it's the complete opposite. I've never seen anything like it. Like, they've got the biggest hearts I've ever seen in my life. When I realised I need to become Muslim is when, unfortunately, me and my family became, we were made homeless in December just gone. So my father, he wasn't paying the mortgage. He never told us about it. And then he just, packed his stuff and left one day. And then obviously I got home from school and I realised, you know, he wasn't there. And then obviously turns out he wasn't paying the mortgage. So obviously I had to step up at the age of 18 to start paying this mortgage off. But the problem being is that there was so much interest built up from him not paying it. Eventually we ran out of money. And then obviously the bank obviously took the house in December just gone. It was quite annoying really, because I had quite a decent security business. But unfortunately, obviously paying the mortgage off ruined my cash flow. So obviously all of my staff weren't getting paid, because I had to choose between my family or my business. And obviously it was in a very, very difficult situation. So obviously that's why I thought, right, I need help. No one would help me. Like we went to family and friends. No one would help. And then obviously I went to my friend Hakeem, and obviously even to sit and talk to him, he would meet me at 2 o'clock in the morning just to discuss my feelings. And even for me, that was enough to realise that, you know, these people are different. So it was hard, but obviously I knew I had to be strong and to get through this. And if it wasn't for the masjid, the mosque, my family would still be on the streets now. So, you know, they're going to pay for 3 months rent up front for my family, as well as a deposit, just to get me and my family off to the street, just so I can focus on Allah. That's the only reason. They don't want me to pay nothing back. All they want is me to be on the right track, me and my family. And so I'll be forever grateful to Bracknell Islamic Society. I was paying £400 a week just for my family to stay in a travel lodge. There was 4 of us in one room and 2 dogs. And obviously it drained our money. Obviously that was about 6 months in a hotel room, and we ran out of money. And obviously the masjid, you know, see how in pain I was because of my mum and my brother and my sister. You know, no one could help us. No one could financially help us like that we knew. So as soon as I heard that they're gonna help us, I broke into tears there and then. I honestly, it's the best news I've ever heard in my life. When I first took my shahada, just before I went in that building, I was so scared. I didn't know what to expect. All I've heard is about stories from mosques. I've never stepped foot inside one, but I've never been so welcomed in my life. Everybody, it's obviously the minute obviously I finished my shahada, I had about 50 people come over and welcome me into the religion. All of them queued up. I had to sit there and shake everybody's hand. So I was so nervous, but as soon as I finished, I was part of the family, and it was the best feeling I've ever had in my life.
The work of supporting new Muslims continues year-round, and you can be part of it. Over the past 5 years, IRA has been blessed at being able to introduce Islam to more than 400,000 people. These individuals need our constant support as they navigate their new faith. Your contribution of £50 to support one new Muslim gives them essential guidance and support. Click the link below, share the video, and let's go back to that interview, shall we?
I didn't realise what the future held for me. Obviously, I realise now I've got family all over the world that'll accept me. And you know, I was nervous. I was sitting there talking to God, and I said, you know, please help me and my family, just get us on the right path. And you know, get away from the alcohol abuse, and you know, all of us have a good rest of our lives. So most people were really shocked when they found out that obviously I reverted to Islam, just because of the change from when I was younger. You know, listening to people and not speaking to them for myself and finding out what they're really like. But it was amazing. So my family, to be honest, they were really understanding when I told them that I was gonna revert. And to be honest with you, I was really shocked. I was really shocked about how understanding they were, because you know, they see what I was like when I was younger, and then obviously, you know, how I transformed into, you know, who I am now. You know, I've actually got a heart. I care about my family. I care about my brothers. I care about my sisters. I care about Allah. And I want us all to have a really, I want us to all have a really good life. I said for about a year, 8 months maybe, I said if I'm going to support any religion, it would be Islam. But I kept saying it, but I wasn't doing it. And one day I said, today's the day. People need to hear about, these guys don't know who I am, but yet they're willing to help me. And for me, like no one would help me. Like, I couldn't get a loan to save my security business. But the reason I didn't tell them so early is because I wanted to show them what the religion's doing for us, what they're doing for our family. At this point, I was a Muslim for a month, and they're talking about giving me £15,000 to put my family in a house. So I wanted to show them what they'll do for us. But a month, I've probably been to the mosque twice. But yet they will still risk that for me, and that on its own is incredible. And people need to hear about what Islam actually is. To be honest with you, I've got learning difficulties, so I really struggle to read. I've got dyslexia, so every time I'm sitting there I'm reading the Quran, and I haven't. To be honest with you, I didn't have a clue. I didn't really understand when I'm sitting on my own. I couldn't understand how to pray, and obviously I was too nervous to ask at the masjid. So obviously someone from the masjid offered me this opportunity to come to this course, and someone even paid for me to come. I didn't even pay to be here, because they want me to understand about Islam and obviously learn to pray and learn to improve my life every day. My message for anybody, if anybody's curious or anybody wants to know any information, don't be afraid. Speak to us. I was afraid. I was nervous because I thought I was going to get judged. I thought people were going to say, who's this white geezer walking into the mosque? So honestly, if you ever get the chance to, speak to someone, find out, just learn. And obviously if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I think you'll find it will be. My message to my brother Hakeem, thank you so much for helping me. He took me to my shahada. He was there, the day this all started. He helped me change my life. He helped me realise what the true path is, to stay away from evil, to stay away from the alcohol, to stay away from, focus on your family and focus on yourself, because really all you've got is yourself and your family. So obviously, and your future kids, you need to stay on the right path, build up a good nest egg for your future family, and and just pass on the lessons you've learned. And obviously one thing I made sure, I swore to myself as a kid, my children would never go through what I went through. I'm there for them. Anything they need, I'm there.